Welcome to Sony Simplified. I'm your host, Nick, and today we're going to be talking about outdoor and nature photography. This is going to be a live session for beginners, so we do have a chat. Go ahead and put your questions down there. And if you do like this content, please hit the like button and subscribe. Today's topics are going to be, one is going to be the exposure triangle. It's going to be our ISO, shutter speed, and aperture. 2 is going to be beginner settings for outdoor and nature photography. And then 3, I'm going to embarrass myself, put myself to the test with these settings using the SEL 16 to 25G. So the first we're going to cover is the exposure triangle. I think this is very important to cover for outdoor and nature photography because it's all about using that natural light and getting those high-res photos. So when we're talking about outdoor photography in relation to that exposure triangle, ISO is going to be the thing that I kind of want to talk about first, and that is your sensitivity. Generally speaking, when you want those higher res photos, you want to keep that low. So I don't really have any extreme examples, but if you raise your ISO too much, you introduce a lot of noise. And I think ISO can become somewhat of a crutch for people. So I found this out when I started taking photos for the first time. Is I use the ISO, and these Sony cameras are actually, like, with the stack sensors, can get some insane ISO and clean images at higher ones. But traditionally, start out low, and then we'll kind of go from there. In terms of aperture, I went ahead and did some extreme photos just so you know how much that can change. When I first got into cameras, or the first time that I tried to pick up a camera and shoot photos, I used to change the aperture, and then I would shoot a photo, and then I would ruin the photo. Thank goodness for Sony having the electronic viewfinders that I can actually see what I'm doing. Because I would know that I'm destroying my exposure on my photos. So this is a very extreme example, but we have the forest shot here. I shot one with the lens wide open, right? So aperture is when your lens is opening and closing. And so we have the one here at an f2.8 that is completely blown out. Without changing any other settings. So this is leaving the shutter speed and the ISO completely the same. And then we have the one over here on f22, which is going to be that closed down, capturing more detail aperture. But because that lens is closed down, it's going to let less light into the photo. So that's going to be your aperture. And then in terms of shutter speed, this is what in terms of the exposure triangle, this is kind of what I isolated. And so I kind of wanted to show you the extremes of what can happen with shutter. So when you're running like a 15-second shutter, that slower shutter speed can completely wipe out a photo. It also makes it very blurry. For more experts out there, or even beginners, you know, when you have those longer shutter speeds, that's how you can get some dramatic effects, but you also probably need to use a tripod. Faster shutter can work really great during, you know, the peak bright parts of the day. So an example here, 1/100th, not even that fast of a shutter, but definitely fast enough to get a crisp picture. And the forest completely darkened the picture, and now it's underexposed and you can't see the details. So if you go to kind of to the next one, picking somewhere in the middle, you can see that this was the exact same picture, and now you can actually see the forest, the trail, all the details of the sky. And that's kind of what we're doing there. So I'm going to go ahead and check into the chat and see what's going on here. All right, looking good. So the next thing I want to do is cover the beginner settings for outdoor and nature photography. So I had a dear friend of mine talk to me about doing outdoor nature, because this is something that I've never really done. I got a camera mainly to take pictures of family members and pets. I wanted to take those dramatic bokeh shots where you have the blurred backgrounds and all that type of stuff. So shooting massive detail with sunsets and long shadows, that scared me. So I asked a friend, beginner settings for outdoor and nature photography, and this is what I was told. So autofocus, I shoot with continuous autofocus almost all the time because I want all those dots slamming across the screen. When you're trying to focus on lighting and focus on a detail, it is important to put it in single shot. So if you grab your camera and you go into your autofocus, and if you're like me and you put it on your FN button, just go into that focus mode or put focus mode on there and actually change it. I think it will help you out a lot, because it definitely helps me out. Because what happens when you're in continuous and you're trying to shoot landscapes and you want to focus on a part of those landscapes or that nature, what ends up happening is your lens hunts. It does the thing where it will go in and out, in and out, in and out, and I don't want that to happen to you. So please just put it in a single shot and it will save you. The next is going to be white balance setting. I wanted to keep this as simple as possible. So there is a bunch of auto white balance. I will just tell you right now to do, if it is sunny outside, do sunny. If it is cloudy outside, do cloudy. If you're in the shade, do shade. Don't make it hard on yourself at first. This is a beginner's tutorial to kind of get you out there taking photos, give you confidence. When you want to find an artistic style that you like, or when you want to do that, by all means, go out there, get it done. But just let the camera do some of the work for you right now. All right, so then we go to ISO. I want you to shoot at a low ISO. I want you to start around 100 to 200 to get rid of all that noise, have clean looking photos, use as much as the natural light as possible. If you need to raise it a little bit to properly expose a photo, just to, 400, 600, try to keep it just as low as possible. For the sake of these photos, I left it no more than 200 the entire time. And then aperture. These great landscapes do not look blurry. They look in massive detail, right? So it is very important that you close down that aperture. I would recommend starting with f16 or higher. Really maximizing the amount of detail that you have in the photo. We don't need bokeh right now, we need detail. And so that's what we're going to be doing with outdoor and nature. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about was shutter speed, because this is what I found to be the thing that I edited most with the photos that I was taking. I did have a tripod with me, so as we're kind of going through, I knew that I was going to have some longer shutters, especially as some of the shadows of the day came through. But I would say in general, for a rule, moving objects, you might need to go like 1/30th of a second or higher, just so you don't get them too blurred. But again, remember, if you raise it too high, it gets over dark in the picture. If you go too long, it can overexpose the picture. So you're going to have to kind of play around with the settings on what you want. And those longer shutters, when they're 1/4 or actually getting into the 1, 2, 5 seconds, it's really needed to use a tripod unless you don't shake at all. I can't do that. I'm not capable of not shaking when I'm holding a camera. So we're going to go ahead and check back into the chat. But I also want to put up this link to our one-on-one consultation. So this is where you get to talk to one of us one-on-one about your situation. So you can follow that link, sign up for an appointment. One of our experts are going to be able to talk to you about your situation, what cameras, what lenses that you actually want, and go from there. So as we move here, actually, let me check into the chat because we got some stuff going on. And then I will embarrass myself with photos. But I will tell you about my experience, what I realized with shooting a wide angle, and kind of go from there. So, all right, we are looking good. So, testing with the wide angle 16 to 25G. This is something that I've never really done before. I never really shot wide. I never shot landscapes. I never shot outdoor. So the framing of this became very difficult. So I went to the highest point of a park, and I wanted to just kind of, I thought this would be a beautiful like sunset photo, right? So a lot of times when people talk about outdoor and nature photos and you have these long shadows in the sun, they're talking about golden hour. Golden hour is the first hour of the day or the last hour of the day. It is when that sun is like horizontal and you get those crazy long shadows. That is your golden hour. It creates like a warmth of light too, because it's coming at kind of a, you know, you get that kind of angle. But yeah, so every time that I go to this park at the top of the hill, I think it's so beautiful up there. And if you can go back to the first shot there. So when I got up there, I was like, oh, I got a wide angle lens. I'm going to be able to capture the entire park. Yes, but I also captured the entire hill too, and it kind of killed the photo. And that was my first like awakening of, oh my gosh, I'm shooting with a wide angle. This thing sees way wider than I do. You know, so it is gathering more detail, and I have to put my head around framing that or getting into the mindset of it. So so then I started walking down into the baseball fields, and then you can go kind of into the next one. And I thought, oh man, wide angle lens, I got this, like I can go super wide here on the 16 to 25. I can go 16 and just like get the entire like back fences in this shot. But the reality was I couldn't get close enough and high enough to get the shot that I wanted to. So I'm still just kind of like hunting. And then I finally kind of like walked back up to the hillside where it was a little bit steeper, and I saw this beautiful tree and the sun kind of peeking through the tree. And so the next shot I kind of did was here, and I wanted to get that sun kind of glaring through the tree, but it also was hitting the baseball field. And I think I got a little bit closer on this one to what I wanted to do, but it still wasn't exactly hitting right. You know, it didn't seem like, for me, it wasn't like artistic. It was like, it's a pretty shot, but it's nothing spectacular. It basically just like captured a moment. And so I walked around a little bit. I started to do some trails and stuff, play around a little bit more with the settings, and I lost light, and then I went home. And then I thought about it for a couple days. And then I went on a run through a trail, and I started seeing different things that caught my eye in the morning time. And then I went back later in the evening and I started shooting again. And so I wanted to give you guys a little bit more perspective, because I don't know, thinking about shooting with a wide angle lens, I was also thinking about perspective, right? So we always think of these landscape style photos, but you could also go vertical and tell a completely different story. So when you're testing out landscape photography, I think get creative, because you don't really know like what's going to happen. So I saw this crazy tree with a crazy trunk where there's actually like no middle to that trunk. It's just these branches that are sprawled out and grabbing into the ground. It's like somebody tried to pull it out and then just stopped, but yet the tree was still grabbing onto the ground. It doesn't make any sense. But the thing that I realized when I shot it, in the landscape was it chopped the tree off. And if I go too far back, then there's too much clutter in the picture. And so I ended up shooting it vertical as a second piece, just to test out, hey, does this look better as a vertical pic or a horizontal pic, right? So in portrait mode or not. And so I just kind of wanted to test that out and see what we were going with. And then I have like another example as I go down the trail. I kind of like this, bigger tree, smaller tree, and then the trail just kind of ends going down, as you can kind of see with the picture on the right. And then I just had this idea. I stepped to the side, and then I was like, oh, what if I go vertical here? And it looks like it's two kind of different areas, but it's the exact same spot, right? And so I think that that's kind of where I wanted to just have a conversation of get creative with your photos. Outdoor nature photography, it was like, let your eyes tell you what you want to shoot. I think I am a complete newbie at this, but I thought it was kind of fun to be able to experiment, go out, test some photos with a lens that I've never used before. So my body is just the Alpha 7C or Alpha 7 III, the Mark III. So it's nothing spectacular, none of the great details, but with just about a week with the lens and testing this out a couple times, it worked great. And so so as we kept on going down the trail, I went down, and then I saw this wood railing, and as I turned the corner, the rest of the railing was just covered in moss. And I thought it was really fun the way the light was creeping through there to be able to show this kind of like piece of wood that was like exposed to light enough that the moss didn't grow on it, but everywhere else it just kind of was sprawling down. And it kind of leads you down that trail because of that bright green moss on the railing, which was kind of cool. And then here I wanted to test shutter speed, tripod use, to get that like kind of milky, creamy water where it's kind of flowing. And so you'll see great detail on the rock still. I could only get that if I was using a tripod. I actually had to step off the trail, kind of off to the side of the stream, and kind of frame the picture around what I thought was most creative. So you guys can let me know in the chat, like, if you thought I did good or not. But then on the way out of the trail, I saw this great tree with, tons of moss and stuff growing out of the moss and ferns, and everything was kind of just like this arm of the tree just like went out. And then as I kept looking at it, it just kept reaching into the open space. And I was like, when does this tree even end? Like the branch is going sideways out of a tree and it just goes into the distance. And I thought it would be cool to just like take a picture from, where the branch is like already off the tree and just see the branch kind of reach out into style. And that's kind of what we did there. So those are kind of sample photos of my experience of shooting outdoor photography with those settings that we talked about, right? Nothing spectacular, really keeping everything almost to auto, outside of fixing your ISO, fixing your aperture, fixing your shutter speed, the basic exposure triangle, and really trying to isolate the aperture and shutter speed while trying to keep the aperture as closed off as possible. So the higher the number, so we can maximize detail. So that is what we did. Hopefully you have found this beneficial. Again, hit that like and subscribe button. And then we have a couple other things to wrap up with. So yeah, so I shot with the 16-25 lens today, or this last week. If you want to see what certain lenses can do, because we have so many wide angle lenses, we have so many zoom lenses you can use for outdoor and landscape. This is a great resource on Sony.net. It allows you to basically choose the camera that you either have or want, and pick a lens that you're interested in, and seeing what people are shooting photos of. So there's a bunch of sample photos out there of camera and lenses to just kind of give you an idea. And I think like if you're wanting to expand your experience, I think that's a great way to go. And then the last thing I want to do is thank you for spending your time with me. If you have made it this far in the video, we do want your feedback. And so what else would you like to see from us? At Sony, we would like to help you out. So this is a photography live session. The next ones that we're kind of thinking about doing, you can kind of let us know in the chat or comments. Wedding photography tips, flash photography tips, or sports and action photography tips. We can do any of those. Let us know, give us feedback. We want to help you. That is the point of these videos. This has been Sony Simplified, and thank you.